What up, what up, what up, though? And welcome to a new episode of The Lion's Den. I'm your host, Derek Timeless. Now, I know it's been a good minute since I uploaded one of these videos. It's actually been 2 months, 60 days to be exact. And the reason why I took this small hiatus again is because I got a little discouraged at first by doing it because I'm like, videos kind of going kind of slow. Shorts doing okay. So I'm not gonna lie, I got a little discouraged, but you know what? I said the way things have been going, how the music industry is now, I said, you know what? I'm gonna keep going, keep doing this, and eventually we'll get there. But even if I don't get there, I mean, a small following is still following. We're gonna keep growing the channel, keep liking the videos, keep sharing them, leave comments so I can get this in the algorithm. But anyway, we'll get there. So I won't take another 2 month hiatus. Now I'm gonna keep going. We're gonna keep doing this because there's a lot to talk about. There's a lot of music that's coming out in the future that I would like to review. There are projects from last year I would still like to review. So yeah, the Lion's Den is here to stay. We'll get there. But today is not a music review. Today is one of these, I want to call it like a come to Jesus speech mostly for young up and coming artists. I want to talk about the Pooh Shiesty situation, and I want his situation to be a cautionary tale to all you young and aspiring rappers, artists, whatever music you make. What Pooh Shiesty did was the prime example of a pure crash out. Like what he did, and if you don't know the situation, in January of this year, Pooh Shiesty, he's signed to Gucci Mane, his record label 1017 Records. Pooh Shiesty got out of prison in November last year, and he put out his song FDO, which is short for First Day Out, and that song went viral instantly. I think it's currently at over 50 million views, the actual music video. I think the first day it got over 1 million views. I'm pretty sure it did. But yeah, he had a huge song coming out of prison. So you would think, with that song, you would build up on the momentum of that song because, with Lil Durk locked up right now, Pooh Shiesty was legit the last drill rapper that was official. So yeah, it was a lot of hype around him coming out. The FDO song solidified like, yo, Shiesty here and he about to have a crazy run. But then in January, he calls Gucci Mane up to meet him in a studio in Dallas, Texas, and him, Pooh Shiesty, his dad, artist he's very close with, Big 30, another Memphis artist who's signed to Moneybagg Yo, and we all know Moneybagg Yo is signed to Yo Gotti. So Pooh Shiesty, his dad, Big 30, and I want to say like 6 of their other friends. 9 of them got arrested, so 6 other people they're affiliated with. They all come from Memphis, and they go to Dallas, and Pooh Shiesty, he strong-armed his way out of Gucci's contract. They say he pulled out Draco on Gucci, made him sign a release contract, and his affiliates, they robbed everybody else that was there. They robbed Gucci too, and then they left. So right off the bat, for all you artists, if you're going to sign to a major label, or if you're going to sign to another rapper or artist, if you're not going to stay independent, there's one thing you need to know about contracts when it comes to court. You cannot make someone sign anything while under duress. So Pooh Shiesty is still signed to Gucci Mane because he made Gucci sign a release form while held at gunpoint. So you basically like sign or else. He did like the Godfather. I made him an offer he couldn't refuse. But you see, in court, a judge and a jury are not going to uphold that release form because they say they're going to basically say you made him sign it while threatening his life. So like it wasn't legit like he signed it under his beard like you negotiated something with him. Because it was alleged that which I believe this would have happened. Pooh Shiesty was going to sign Yo Gotti, and I think Yo Gotti was offering him a $10 million contract, which I do believe that is true. And you see, this is where, Pooh Shiesty, he wasn't educated. He didn't know that he had the leverage at this point. He had leverage. You have another label ran by a successful artist, and he's running a successful label. He's offering you $10 million. Pooh Shiesty should have went to Gucci and said, Yo Gotti's offering me $10 million. You either need to match it or need to offer me more or I'll walk. And if Gucci wanted to say, no, I'm not paying you $10 million and I ain't gonna let you go that easy, then again, Pooh Shiesty could have went to Gotti, like, hey, you got high power lawyers. If Pooh Shiesty didn't want to get lawyers himself because he's under Atlantic Records as well too, because that's what Gucci's label is under. He could have went to Atlantic and asked for counsel from one of their lawyers. They got a plethora of lawyers. So that was Pooh Shiesty's first mistake. He got out of prison and didn't build up on the momentum of a hit song. Like his song reached number 12 on the Billboard. Like there's no rap song. I think in the top 20 or 10 right now on the Billboard. Like there's no big huge song. Pooh Shiesty could have had a huge song out right now because he was teasing a song with Glorilla. I think back in February on his Instagram. Like he recorded a song with us, and it sounded like it was fire. But anyway, I'm just rambling. But getting back to what I'm saying, yeah. So Pooh Shiesty, he was out on house arrest. He had an ankle monitor on. So he goes and he commits federal crimes. Because, armed robbery is a federal crime. Like, that's a huge felony. So you go commit a federal crime while you're on an ankle monitor. And the cameras in the studio where they met up all had videos. All had cameras around there. So you're on video. Now, the robbery is not on video. But you can clearly see him and his entourage coming in and out of the studio. You see Gucci's entourage coming out of the studio. So they were there. And then if you, I'll leave the link to the FBI's their briefing about the case when they captured them all on the same day. How they ended up capturing them. They pretty much you can't get away with a crime in this day and age. They had surveillance footage, they had license plate readers. They ended up finding out that some of them guys came, that was on the Greyhound bus. They found the bus they was on, the tickets they bought. Pooh Shiesty's dad, he went to Staples and printed out the release form that they made Gucci sign. They have him on camera doing that, along with the receipt of him doing this. It's like, there's a lot of evidence up against Pooh Shiesty, and again, it's just their cautionary tale of you cannot strong arm or muscle your way out of a recording contract. And it doesn't help too that the guys that were with Pooh Shiesty, they assaulted Gucci Mane's cameraman, and Gucci Mane was there with his security, which they're saying both of them were off-duty police officers. So right off the bat, Pooh Shiesty's going to get caught regardless, because the whole thing with this situation now, everybody's making the big deal of, Gucci gave a statement, because in the affidavit, which is online now, Gucci is mentioned in there a few times, and they particularly highlighted that he's in there identifying Big 30 and he's identifying Pooh Shiesty. It says in there, MM and RD. We know RD is Roger Davis. That's Gucci Mane's actual real government name. You can look that up. And it says in there that he described Big 30 and he described Pooh Shiesty. And there's a video of an FBI agent who's a part of the case, and she's on the stand under oath, admitting that Gucci gave a statement. Gucci gave a statement to them. So I know everybody's up in arms that, oh, Gucci snitched. Yeah, he snitched. He gave a statement. He absolutely snitched, and it's bad for him because the persona image he put out his whole career is, and he said this several times, that he would never cooperate with the police. He don't like rats. But he gave a statement to the police, so obviously he's changed his mind over the years. And I don't think he's wrong at all. He should get Pooh Shiesty locked up. Like, I'm your label boss, and I'm here thinking you're bringing me here, and I'm thinking I'm coming here for business, and you set me up and rob me, and then your friends don't even wait a few days. They within hours. They on Instagram flexing all the stuff you robbed from me and my peoples. So yeah, if I'm a huge label executive, I absolutely gonna get you locked up. Yeah, without question. You are absolutely done. And where Pooh Shiesty is even more fried, because he made Gucci sign the release under duress, it's not gonna hold up in court. So he's still signed to Gucci. All of that, and you're still signed to the man you just robbed, and he's still making money off you. So, are you young artists? Do not be a crash out. There are ways to get out of contracts. Pooh Shiesty, I'm talking of him being young and uneducated. The people around him were clearly uneducated. His dad absolutely failed him. Like, his dad should have been the main one. Like, no, we're not about to do some Godfather movie. Let's just go down there and just put guns in his face and say, sign this or else. Like, what did you think was going to happen, the outcome of this? Well, I know what they were thinking. They were thinking, oh, this Gucci man, he not going to call the police or nothing like that. But he was there with other people who are civilians. Like, they don't prescribe to the street code that y'all do. So, yeah, he was not going to get away with it. No way, shape, or form. Even if Gucci had not said anything, he was not getting away with it. So, yes. So, long story short, I'm wrapping this up now. Pooh Shiesty's uneducated, and he didn't realize that he had leverage once Gotti offered him $10 million. But again, when you're young and you crash out, you're not that smart, your frontal lobe, where your thinking process, your critical thinking and emotional, y'all call it emotional intelligence, it's all right here in your frontal lobe. His was clearly underdeveloped, and that's why he did what he did. And yeah, I don't know what a life sentence is in Texas, because the trial's gonna be in Texas, because that's where the crime was committed. I have to look up what a life sentence is in Texas, but yeah, Pooh Shiesty, I wouldn't be surprised if they gave him 30 plus years for this. Like, you were on an ankle monitor, which meant there's only a certain. Well, I guess he's on, because his celebrity status, he's on special restrictions, but he was still on an ankle monitor. Like, they knew where he was at all times. Like, the ankle monitor's a GPS. So I think there were like certain restrictions he had, where like there's only a certain amount of miles he could go that was within the legal limit for him. But still, he wasn't supposed to be around guns, be around anybody with guns, drugs. No, he's not supposed to be around any criminal activity while he's on home confinement. Instead of him using that time to push out another hard single while working on an album or a mixtape, he goes and robs Gucci Mane, and now he's back in prison. And I don't know, it's not looking good for him. But if you are a Pooh Shiesty fan, I will say this. There is a small glimmer of hope for him, believe it or not. Because he's still with Atlantic Records, he could try to use one of their defense lawyers, because he has the money for it. He has the money for his own type of defense team too. There is a small glimmer of hope for Pooh Shiesty. And I say that is because the robbery is not on camera. Like, there were no cameras in the actual studio. Like, yeah, they had fingerprints from the people that was with him, 'cause they were drinking red cups and stuff. They left them all around the studio, and they all are and all of them are on camera coming into the studio and outside the studio, so they were there. But the robbery was not captured on camera. So with that, they could use that as, well, we never robbed him, even though they had the evidence of his friends flexing and all that stuff. But Pooh Shiesty can say, well, I didn't personally rob anybody. So he has that defense. And I was watching a YouTube video recently. One of Pooh Shiesty's defense attorneys, he said that he's read some of the statements that was given, and he said some of those statements looked sketchy. So it's looking like Gucci gave those statements, but from what Pooh Shiesty's defense lawyer was saying is, I think Gucci's not going to really cooperate. Even though he just put out a song called Crash Dummy, where he breaks down the whole incident, and the police could just actually use that song as his confession. But and Gucci being a street guy, he probably looking at it like, well, I gave them a statement, but when they call me to testify, I don't have to cooperate anymore. So if Pooh Shiesty, he has a small glimmer of hope. Though I will say this: the only way Pooh Shiesty can get out of this is if Gucci stops cooperating, or it's two ways he can get out of this. Either Gucci stops cooperating, and because the other witnesses, they can still get him locked up. He's done. He could. I was trying to give y'all a little bit of hope. Now Pooh Shiesty could, because I was gonna say Gucci could get up on the stand and say, "Oh, I just gave that statement because I was under duress. They basically forced me to confess." Kind of like what Lil Woody did with Young Thug, and he went on the stand and he told the judge, he's like, "Look, I told the police whatever they wanted to say, because they said they didn't want me, they want the big fish, which was Young Thug." And they was like, "Man, we don't care about nothing you did and stuff." So basically, he like under duress, like they made him say all that stuff about Young Thug, and he basically like, I just told them that I want them to leave me alone, but I don't know Young Thug. So Gucci could pull that, but then the other people there, and it was two off-duty cops there, so yeah, Pooh Shiesty's known. But anyway, that's just my little rant for today about this topic. Yeah. Long story short, educate yourself on contract law, on music law. If you want to sign to an artist, that's fine. I'm not saying sign to an artist is a bad thing, because some artists have have artist-friendly contracts. Like Yo Gotti, I have heard no complaints from the artists he has. Remember, Young Money was hot for a long time, and all their problems was actually with Cash Money. And we're going to the Birdman. That's a story for another day. But yeah, artists negotiate. Don't ever do what Pooh Shiesty did, and he just fumbled not only his second chance at life, you fumbled a huge bag. Huge bag. You could have changed your life and a lot of people's lives. And like I said, when you get street people who aren't business savvy and who are uneducated, get this situation. So anyway, that's my rant for today. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Lions Den. I didn't plan for it to be this long, but this Pooh Shiesty situation is just very disturbing, and I hope, wish, and pray that a young up-and-coming rapper doesn't look at what he did and think, oh, that's a good idea, because Pooh Shiesty, if convicted, he's getting a life sentence. But he is due his day in court, so we'll see. But on that note, this has been another episode of The Lions Den. I'm your host, Derek Timeless. Follow me on Instagram at Derek Timeless CEO 313, and you can follow me on TikTok at The Lions Den _313. Alright, so this has been another episode of The Lions Den. Catch you next time. Peace.